Northwest Arkansas Weather Authority.
Hi, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff along with Miss Melissa Hall. And we've been watching this weather system. You and I were kind of communicating back and forth. We do have a couple of tornado warnings that are in our area. Yeah. This thing dramatically developed.
It really popped up very quickly.
And temperatures started warming. The sunshine came out. That's what the big question was today, is will that sun come out? And I can tell you firsthand that on my way back in to work this afternoon, the sun has come out. We've got tornado warnings. Let's get right to them because people are like, what, tornado warnings? This is kind of a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, well, we had some rounds of rain earlier, but then when that sun was able to come out, it just added fuel to this system and was giving them that instability it needed. Plus, we had shear out there, which is a big factor in this as well.
You can see this by the clouds just moving along like crazy. I mean, it's very fast-moving clouds. In the low levels, we're talking about strong wind shear, which is one of the ingredients for these storms to rotate. Now, I'm going to show you here as I get to the weather wall, Mega Doppler, we've got multiple severe thunderstorm warning. Well, there I pop up on the weather wall, literally. Mega Doppler showing, again, the confirmed tornado. This was spotter indicated and reported, and it continued on the ground for quite some time. That's a confirmed tornado. You can see it kind of moving to the east of Choteau. But we've got two tornado warnings now that are in the path of south of Fayetteville. This is going to be towards the West Fork area. We've got a WeatherBug camera in Lincoln. We got another one in Cartwright that we're watching these storms closely. We'll get to that in just a bit, and we'll put a track. Melissa, if we can zoom out on Mega Doppler, and we'll get a big picture here. What we have right now are literally 3 or 4 isolated supercells. Notice how there's nothing going on in eastern sections of northwest Arkansas. These are the storms, and the models have been kind of hinting at this all day, even last night. I know Melissa mentioned the severe weather potential, and we'll hear from her in just a little bit as we track these storms. But we have these 2 tornado warnings that are currently in effect. We've got a confirmed tornado. This is going to be quick moving. It's going to be out of here pretty fast for northwest Arkansas. But unfortunately, these storms can and have the capability and have produced tornadoes. So right now, 4:23, you're probably thinking, I've got evening church, maybe some choir practice. What am I going to do the rest of the evening? Well, let's get in and we'll zoom in on these storms and we'll show you kind of the rotation that's associated with them. And literally, these storms are developing and they're rotating as they develop. So I know a lot of you got the alerts in Washington County for a tornado warning. That does not include the Fayetteville area currently. We do have a tornado warning that's also for Adair County. That's going until 4:30 as the storm moves, and it goes until about 4:45 to 5 o'clock for the area in southern Washington County. So a lot of things happening this afternoon as the storms quickly develop. Why don't we zoom in a little bit more, Melissa, on this storm. This is southwest Washington County. We're going to zoom way in. I know the Hawkeye and areas north of Devil's Den, and we can see the area of rotation if we go to it. It's a little bit interesting to see how fast these storms are starting to spin up as they develop. And there was no anvil coming over Fayetteville or anything like that in indicating a strong storm moving in, but these storms rapidly developing. So there's the skylight area. If we zoom out a little bit more and we put that rotation indicator on, Melissa, we'll go ahead and we'll look at that. And there you go. Right there is that area of circulation that's showing up just to the southeast of skylight. It is moving to the northeast, and there you can see it moving towards Onda as well as some other areas north of Strickler. This is obviously rural southwestern Washington County, a place that you probably won't even be able to visually see it because of all the trees and the terrain, but tornadoes don't care about the terrain. They can touch down whenever. Now, this is just a radar-indicated tornado. I'm going to put a track on this and we'll zoom out. And this is definitely the main threats with these storms, Melissa, is tornado potential, which is not something you hear every day. Though hail isn't all that big on these storms, and in fact, there's absolutely no hail with these storms. These storms are developing and quickly producing rotation. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do some adjustments on the radar just to make sure that we've got the right storm motion, and we do all that stuff. And also, why don't we do a storm track on this as well? So we'll take a look at this storm. We'll start to track it. We'll show you the times of the warnings. And so this is what we got. Tornado warning until 5 o'clock for Washington County. We got a tornado warning until 4:45 for Adair County. Now, there are other thunderstorms that are moving in, including northwestern Crawford County. Nothing severe at the moment. but we're going to continue to see that potential for a storm. Yes. We'll just kind of let you know, Austin, which sources we want, because we'll be bouncing back and forth to different things. I do know one thing here we want to bring up when we can, as soon as I get it loaded properly. We're going to get up Weather 3 loaded, because we do have a WeatherBug camera that's located. Let me go ahead and... So this is our WeatherBug 3 camera located at Cartwright Mountain. Whenever we can bring that up full and take a look at that. This is the storm that's tornado warned west and southwest of Washington County. So this is southwest Washington County. Let's put a track on this. Again, these storms are moving. How quickly are they moving, Melissa? About 30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour to the northeast.
Yeah, it looks about 30 miles an hour to the northeast, so we'll put a track on this as they move to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. And here you can see some of the areas affected by this thunderstorm. So Hawkeye, which is what we mentioned, at about 440. Here is a look at the storm, by the way. We're visually checking out our WeatherBug network camera. This is located in Artist Point, so essentially Cartwright Mountain. That's in northeastern Crawford County. Unfortunately, the lowering, if there would be any, it's right by this pole. This is the radar looking straight west, and if we turned a little bit more to the northwest, we'd run into the pole, but this is our best view of this tornado-warned storm in rural southwest Washington County. When we bring up Weather 1, you're going to see that we have southwest Washington County. Here's the areas that are going to be affected by this. Now, this will pass south of Fayetteville. This is not including the Fayetteville area unless it turns a little bit more to the northwest. We've got a tornado warning that goes until 5 o'clock for south central and southwest Washington County. Notice how the polygon doesn't really extend very far out. That's because the storms are moving 30 miles an hour. I mean, that's not slow, but that's not super fast either. So that kind of gives a little bit of time, a little bit of heads up on this storm. Also, too, Austin, if we can launch Facebook Live and do Facebook Live on our KNWA page so people know to watch that. All right, so we're going to get that started up. 448 in West Fork. 455 in Greenland. Again, this is with the east motion, east-northeast at about 30 miles an hour. Now, this is going to be on the very southern edge of the Stonebridge Meadows Golf Club. So that is included in that path as it moves to the northeast. So be aware of that. Now, that's the far northern edge of the storm. The actual circulation will probably pass south of Stonebridge Meadows in the West Fork area, but these storms are all moving east-northeast at about, like I said, about 30 miles an hour. So we want to check out the latest on Mega Doppler and see exactly what's going on, because the new radar update will come out. We'll get the latest information. Let's go ahead and we'll bring up Mega Doppler as we look at the radar loop. There's the storm. So it is moving a little more of a northeasterly direction. That's coming towards the southeast side of Fayetteville. There's no doubt about that. So looking at that latest loop. So here's the area of circulation. It's not as strong, but keep in mind there I have seen these storms today, Melissa, produce tornadoes, not even looking as strong as this one had rotation. That Mays County in northeast Oklahoma produced rather quickly. So we do have multiple tornado warnings. We got this one, like we said, until 5 o'clock for southern Washington County, and we've got the other one that's for West Peavine, south of Barron. This is another tornado warned storm, and hopefully our rain and the cloud cover that we saw throughout the day is going to limit the severe weather potential. However, I do want to mention we are under a tornado watch. You could bring that up, Melissa. Look at that tornado watch and see exactly how long that goes for. We don't know until 9 o'clock for the entire area, but this will be out of here well before 9 o'clock. So we got a new update coming to a severe thunderstorm warning. So this is for Craig, Delaware County. So we got a new severe thunderstorm warning with the weather radio going off. We'll see that popping up. And this is going to be for the storm that's located just to the west of Grove. So you can kind of see that line, anywhere along that line. But it's those isolated storms that are out ahead of everything. So we've got a WeatherBug camera in Lincoln. I'm going to bring that up as well. And we'll take a look at that WeatherBug network camera in Lincoln. We do have some storm spotters that are out there. They're streaming, but this is just kind of a tough place to spot in southwest Washington County where it's not very easy to see. So I'm going to kind of move the camera around. We're going to look straight west, and there's just not much to see. You can see a little bit of an enhanced lowering there with the storm. We're looking straight west-southwest to Lincoln. Not much and not much definition there. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado. Nothing has been spotted or confirmed except for the Mayes County. Mayes County was a confirmed tornado that was on the ground that storm spotters actually saw. So I want to
also to our north today in Missouri from the same system.
Yeah, and we'll show that system here in just a bit. Let's go to Weather 2 if we can, Austin. Weather 2 is going to show us the tornado watch. All those counties shaded in yellow are under a tornado watch. That goes until 9 o'clock. Clearly, any storms that are in the watch or close to the watch can have the potential to bruise tornadoes. And we have these 2 tornado warnings that are currently in effect. I'm going to do another track on this, updating it, looking at that very latest path. But if you are in southwestern Washington County, near Hawkeye or Strickler or north of Strickler, make sure you take your tornado precautions. What we mean by that is getting to the center part of your home, lowest level, stay away from windows. We like to spell out the word duck, downstairs, under something, center of the house, and keep away from windows. That's the best thing to do in a tornado. If you're in a mobile home and maybe you're in a rural area and you don't have a structured home, you have a mobile home, you got to get out of those. There's no place safe. They can get picked up. They can get tossed around, even in the weakest tornadoes. So get to a sturdy structure if possible. That's the best thing to do. Sometimes mobile home parks do have a designated tornado safe spot. That's where you want to go. But there is that tornado warning, again, for south central Washington County and another one for Adair County. Melissa, yes.
As far as this storm that is in southeast Washington County, the track of it, it's looking like it's going to be approaching West Fork, 440, then right onto Greenland within the next 6 minutes. Finger Park, you guys can expect it shortly thereafter. Like you said, it's going to be clipping that Stonebridge Meadows area, Fayetteville Country Club area, closer to the 5 o'clock mark, about 4:55, and then on to Elkins just after 5 o'clock. With this same track, if it holds together, you're looking at it being toward War Eagle Mill, close to 5:30.
Yeah, we'll see if it holds together. Hopefully it falls apart, but the way this environment is and the way these storms are cranking up, that is, that's not necessarily going to happen, that they continue to weaken. It's amazing how much wind shear there is. It's almost like an April-type setup in mid-August.
It really is a very spring-like forecast today.
Yeah, and especially the humidity that's out there, too. We got the summertime humidity with a spring-like, what we call dynamics. So, all right, let's go back to Megadot. Okay, you're doing both tracks.
I am. I know we got a lot of folks out there that are curious about the second warning that is still in Oklahoma.
Okay, we got to bring up Weather 1, just to let you know. We're doing storm tracks, so we got to bring up Weather 1. There you go.
So for you folks that live in Farmington area, we're looking at it being near Lake Weddington, close to 5:10, about 5:09, and then it'll be moving right toward you in Farmington about 5:17. So it's making its way about 30 miles an hour to the northeast at this rate.
I'm just going to slow down the track a little bit. Also, another thing I want to do is I want to tilt this perfectly vertical so we can see exactly where these storms are going, and Melissa's got them right on the money, exactly where they're tracking. There is a storm, though, in eastern Adair County, kind of right turning a little bit. Right turning means it's moving a little more easterly. So let's put a little bit of a different track on that. There's an update to the warning, by the way, and I'll tell you that exact update to the warning. So Summers is going to be impacted by that storm. And again, we've got that WeatherBug Network camera in Lincoln, so if that storm right turns, we'll get a good view of it. As a matter of fact, we've got the wall cloud. You can see the wall cloud on this storm. That is very clear and evident. We're going to do a 2-box here if we can. Let's do on the left side, if you can, we'll do Weather 1. On the left side, we're going to do Weather 3. Weather 3 on the left side. This is a very well-defined. Check this out, Melissa.
Oh,
this is a very well-defined wall cloud on the storm that's in Adair County. Again, it doesn't look visually like a tremendous supercell, but that's definitely what we've got. Okay, we're not bringing up Weather 3, so I'm just going to bring it up here full on Weather 1. Okay, so we've got a 2-box. There you go. You got the wall cloud, and you can see that is the lowering right there. That is a very well-defined lowering. In fact, that's so low, we've got to be looking at the bottom of this. Let me get this thing in focus. That is scraping the ground, Melissa. We'll see if there's any type of power flashes or anything. Be watching that. That's exactly what we've got, is a very low-defined wall cloud. Where is that wall cloud right now? That is in eastern Adair County. So we're going to bring up Mega Doppler. I'll get in front of the wall. I'll show you exactly what we're seeing. Now, we have 2 tornado warnings, so if the storm that's in looking off to the west from Lincoln looks like that, we can imagine what the storm approaching West Fork looks like. Two very impressive storms right there. In fact, I want to get a snapshot of that on our WeatherBug camera. Look, it's got the tail cloud and everything. This is a very well-defined storm. I'll get a screenshot of that. All right, so you let me know if they have any reports. You might want to type in, very low wall cloud in eastern Adair County. So this is what we're looking at right here. This is, again, Adair County. If we can bring that up, bring up our wall. So this is the storm right here that's in eastern Adair County. This is the storm that we're looking at from Lincoln, looking off to the west. So visually, this storm doesn't look quite as strong or rotating quite as much as the storm that's in Washington County. But when we bring back that 2 box, if we can, and I don't know if I could be on the screen at the same time, we've got this storm that's rotating, and we've got that wall cloud. And we've got to keep watching that on our Skycam, because that's going to be, if not already, very close to tornado potential. I don't see it on the ground yet, but you got to keep in mind too, you got terrain issues. So that's Colby Ward right there. Go ahead and answer that. That's one of our storm spotters.
Hey, Colby.
All right, so again, what we're doing, we're tracking 2 thunderstorms that are tornado warned. We've got a storm that's severe. Love it. We've got very large wall cloud that's completely scraping the ground. We're looking off at the distance from Lincoln. I'm zoomed way in. Just to let you know, I'm zoomed way in. But the reason I'm doing that is so I can kind of see the definition. You see the rain to the right or downwind of the storm. So this is all indications that these storms are definitely rotating. There's no doubt about that. We got tornado warnings. I'm going to go back to the radar here. We're going to do a split screen because I want to see both of these. In fact, the rotation's now picked up near West Fork. Take your tornado precautions if you're in the West Fork area. This storm's going to be coming very close to the west side of West Fork. We got that other storm that's rotating northeast of West Peavine. That's in eastern Adair County. And we already did the track. We're going to update the track. But, Melissa, look at this, 2 strong rotations. In fact, I'm going to bring it back to full screen here. We're going to look at 2 strong rotation. That one it's interesting because these storms are like low-top supercells that are just rotating like crazy because of the strong low-level shear. But here's what you need to know. You need to know if you're in the path of this tornado warning, there's 2 of them, with that really low wall cloud, well-defined wall cloud with strong rotation. And we've got that on our left side of the TV screen. And let me know, Austin, if we're Facebook Living, by the way, as well. And we'll keep monitoring this. Okay. All right, so Farmington is not in the path of any of these storms at the moment, just to let you know. We had a question about that. Yeah. The storm that's to the northeast of West Peavine, the wall cloud that we're looking at, is a storm that's approaching Farmington, but it's got a long ways to go before it gets there. So, and there's other rain and there's other thunderstorms, and there's a storm that's a little bit to the east of that that's also has some rain over the Farmington area. So I'm just letting you know that the Farmington area is not currently under a tornado warning by any means. Let me show you the areas that are. Let's bring up Mega Doppler if we can full. Keep watching that WeatherBug camera. This is a very well-defined wall cloud, very low base as well. I mean, you can see that visually. And the only way we would know if there's a tornado, especially as rural as everything is, maybe there's a little backside of rotation on that. Let's see here. I'm zooming way in on that. So you can kind of see how there's separation. If you're looking at the screen right now, we've got separation between the ground and the cloud base. So that's a good sign that there's not anything on the ground at the moment. But that is a very strong, well-developed wall cloud, no doubt about that. All right, let's do some storm tracks on this so you know exactly where it's headed. And we'll kind of recap if you're just joining us, and we're doing some weather coverage on both stations. We've got tornado warnings. We had confirmed tornadoes earlier in northeast Oklahoma. And so I know Melissa's trying to answer some questions for viewers as well. So this warning goes until about 5 o'clock, but it is starting to approach the southeast side of Fayetteville. Let me do another storm track on this. So that is moving more in a northeasterly direction. So this is going to be clipping the southeast side of Fayetteville.
So Drakefield area.
Yeah.
Up.
All right. So what did Colby have to say, by the way?
He was leaving Lincoln, heading toward southeast Fayetteville.
Okay. All right. So here's a good track of this storm, or as accurate as we can. There's a little bit of uncertainty exactly where it's going to track, but the Fayetteville Country Club, like Melissa mentioned, on the southeast side of Fayetteville, Stonebridge Meadows, Baldwin at 508. Now keep in mind the warning hasn't extended that far over, but looking at this storm and the conditions that are in place and the type of environment that we have, would not doubt if this tornado warning gets extended farther to the northeast. Elkins at 513, Tuttle 519, and Thorny at 521. These are all in eastern Washington County as the storm continues to move to the northeast. And again, we've got that Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera with the wall cloud, and it looks like a very well-developed wall cloud. However, I'm not seeing any tornado on the Skycam, which is good news. And now it looks like this wall cloud became a little bit more outflow dominant appearance. It's not as, you notice how it's not as isolated anymore. It's kind of widespread. So,
yeah.
All right. So just a quickly developing situation. Matter of fact, Melissa, it's my wife calling. I definitely have to let her know about this storm. So, yeah. Okay. Here's an extension to the warning, I think, that we just have. Go ahead, Melissa.
Now, the tornado warning for Adair County, it's set to expire off right now. I'm waiting for it to update on our end. We are looking at, now this storm is 3 miles west of Strickler right now. It's moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. The rotation we're seeing is just radar indicated, so it is nothing on the ground yet, but we're looking at, if you do live in a mobile home, there is then going to be that potential for it to be damaged or destroyed. So if you can find a safer place to be, this is the time to do it. Now, locations in or near the path of Prairie Grove, Strickler, Woolsey, Hogeye, Prairie Grove Battlefield, West Fork, Clyde, Cane Hill, Morrow. And this is going to be also affecting the mile markers 49 to 53 on Interstate 49. Now, the good news is the circulation has weakened some over the past 10 minutes. However, re-strengthening is possible because, just like Dan said, this environment is primed for it. The wind shear is out there. We had that sun pop back up, just adding some fuel to this.
Yeah.
I was fingers crossed watching the radar all afternoon, hoping the cloud coverage would stick around and the rain would be here, but you see where we are now.
And here's some good news on all this. If we look, there's a tornado warning that's expiring for Adair County. That's happening in a minute. They're not planning to extend that into western Washington County. And the circulation has weakened in central Washington County, so they're not planning on extending that tornado warning at this time farther northeast. So what you're seeing right now, these two tornado warnings are going to be expiring. One is literally seconds away from being expired in eastern Adair County. In fact, we'll see this disappear here in just a second. And the next one, the warning goes until 5, but the rotation has weakened, Melissa. So good news for that. Farmington not in the path of any type of tornadic activity. And it looks like both of these circulations have weakened, as I showed you earlier on Mega Doppler. So there's the Adair County warning expiring, and we've got Washington County that will be expiring as well. Let me show you what we mean by the circulation is weakened, which is good news at the moment. But as Melissa said, can't let our guard down.
Right.
These storms can ramp up quickly. But if we do look at those reds and the greens, so there still is a little bit of rotation, and if it does ramp up a little bit more, you see those bright reds and bright greens kind of showing up just to the west of West Fork, There's a little bit of a circulation, and so this would be the area just east of Hog-Eye right now on Hog-Eye Road. That would be the area that you would have to be concerned with for that tornado potential.
Where are we on Facebook Live?
Yeah.
Have we fixed the technical difficulties?
We're trying to... Okay. Well, we're having some technical difficulties with the computer as far as streaming. But the good news is that it is appearing that all the cloud cover and all the rain that we had today, which limited the amount of sunshine, limited the amount of destabilization, which is what causes these thunderstorms to have the fuel to keep going, it looks like it has weakened. But we still have that tornado warning in progress. There still is another line of thunderstorms. There's a lot of wind shear in place. What we mean by that is if you see the clouds moving from southeast to northwest in the low levels, and then west to east in the upper levels, that's the turning of the wind with height. That's what causes the circulation and the rotation. We're at 446 right now in the afternoon. South of Fayetteville, tornado warning. It does include the West Fork area. However, this storm looks like the tornado warning will be dropped. It might be severe, but keep in mind, severe thunderstorm warnings have to have winds capable of 58 miles an hour or stronger, and or hail 1 inch or larger, which is quarter size. So maybe just a quick ramp up of the storms. We lucked out thanks to the cloud cover and the rain that we saw throughout the morning into the early afternoon, and that kind of weakened this system, because if we were sunny all day, that would have been trouble. And there we go, an expiration of the tornado warning, which means that there are no more tornado warnings in effect. That's good news. And we do have one severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect, and that's for eastern Sequoyah County. That looks like that's going to be expiring as the storm has moved out. So we've got this storm that's warned on until 5:30, but that looks also like it's weakened as well. So
we have on the roof right now.
Okay, so we can take her if we want.
Give us a second to prepare.
All right. So, yeah, good news is it looks like these storms have weakened. There's no more tornado warnings. Everything is kind of expiring. I do have this WeatherBug Network camera, if we could bring that up full again. So let's check this out as we look at our Weather 3 source. Austin, if you're there, I know you're dealing with technical difficulties. But here's this storm that's approaching the Lincoln area, northwest of Lincoln. This was the storm that was earlier warned on. And now you can see that... Oh, yeah. Okay, that popped up. My bad. All right, hold on for a second. That's our NWS chat source. There we go. There you see, this is not a well-developed wall cloud anymore. It's kind of ragged. It doesn't have the lowered base. We got Peyton?
5 minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, we don't have any more warnings in effect until that, unless that, except that severe thunderstorm warning that's in Delaware County, and that's the only one until 5:30. So tornado warning has dropped. We've got our newscast that's going to be starting here at 5 o'clock. We do have some additional storms that are popping up to the west, but with the cloud cover and the rain that these have already provided, they may not hold together, which is good news. Let's go to Weather 1 if we can, and we'll show you. I know some people are asking when the storms are going to stop. So here's the next round of storms that are coming in. Melissa and I are going to be watching these. I don't think they're going to be holding together quite as much, but the wind shear is definitely there. And then once that line moves through, that's going to be the last line that moves through. That will be the last of it. But any one of these storms, even though they're not warned on now, they're still rotating. And if they start to rotate and strengthen a little bit more, then we'll have to see. So we've got Peyton that's going to be live with some information. We've got our WeatherBug cameras. We really don't have any more storms. And look at how this storm is completely fallen apart. So honestly, we could probably drop our coverage here a little bit, and we'll have a live report from Peyton on top of the news here in just a little bit. So no more warnings in effect. The warning that's in northeastern Sequoyah County is going to drop off here soon. We got the warning in northern Delaware County for Grove, but that storm has looked like it's weakened as well. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with some severe weather coverage. So keep it here with your Weather Authority for the latest severe weather information.